Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Robby Foley of Turner Motorsport. Of course, he'll be driving the '96 BMW for the team, along with Bill Auberlen and others. He'll also be in the Michelin Pilot Challenge as well. How's it going, Robby?
Yeah, good. Coming off of the Roar test, a couple of days off here before we get back on track in GS on Wednesday. So, looking forward to the upcoming week. It's nice to be back racing and great way to kick off the year at Daytona.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your year last year in GT Daytona. What's that? What was? How would you assess what the Turner team did last year?
Yeah, I think we had a great year in a lot of ways. We knew the M6 very well. We've been running it a long time, obviously, now to the new M4 GT3. But last year we had a strong start to the season, which wasn't our trend in years past. And we were quickly leading the championship after the third race of the year. And we led the championship for most of the year until the last few races when we had some bad luck. We were basically, it all took a turn with Long Beach and VIR, where we had two bad races, a mechanical at Long Beach that kind of caused us to have an issue, and then VIR we were leading with about 8 minutes to go and we got taken out by a GTLM Corvette. So it was a tight race for the championship until those two unfortunate events happened, and then it put us really on the back foot. And heading into Petit Le Mans, we really didn't have a chance to win anymore, which was unfortunate, but we had a really strong car there as well. And then we also wound up in an unfortunate incident out of our control after leading strongly a good portion of the race. So to give it a grade, it's difficult. It was very disappointing, obviously. Through my seasons with the team, we've had two strong championship runs. Ultimately, we finished second in 2019, and then 2021 we had a great chance to win. We won races, had podiums, and really had a solid year. And then stuff happens, so this year is obviously a lot of new, but we're going to lean on the experience of the team and the people we have around us to try to bring this new M4 GT3 to the front.
Okay, so going into the season, I know you're back with Bill Auberlen again. I mean, what has he helped you, and how has he helped you really become a better driver over the years?
Yeah, I think it's a question I get a lot, and it's really everything to do with his experience. I think I had a lot of experience racing before joining Bill, but I didn't have a lot of experience racing at this level in these types of cars. And just his overall experience from years past, there's not very many situations in racing where he hasn't that he hasn't experienced. So he hasn't taught me so much in terms of the actual driving, that I've learned off of him for sure with comparing data and things like that. But, the big help or the conversations we have away from the track about, little tiny things that really add up. You can be very fast, but to be a race winner and championship winner is a different story. So these cars and these race events operate at such a high level, you have to be hitting on all cylinders. So I think he's helped me with that a lot. And together we've grown into a great pairing over the last couple of years.
With this, with GT Daytona, which is, it's going to have with everything going on, with more cars are now going to the GTD Pro category, which is formerly GT Le Mans. Right. Now, looking at where the championship is at now, what's that going to be like running with what are we going to expect out of GT Daytona this year?
I think it's going to be busy, especially at Daytona. There's a lot of extra entries. Obviously, it's one of the biggest races in the world, so it attracts a lot of teams from overseas. So we've seen a lot of that, and it's busy. There's 35 GTD cars, and they're all the same speed. So it's not easy to pass or be passed. Really, it's very competitive, and I think the top drivers from each category are all going to fall on top of each other. There's virtually, there is no difference between the BOP and everything of the two classes. So you'll see very close racing. You'll probably see more contact. We already saw that in the qualifying race. I was kind of shocked at that, actually. But it's going to be intense.
Yeah. Are you going to, let's talk about that. I mean, I've talked with pretty much everybody that's been on, that every IMSA driver I've had on this week. about all the cars that are there.
Yeah.
How is that going to be? What's your mindset heading into that? Because I don't think I've ever seen 60 to 62 cars at the Rolex.
Yeah, it's a lot for sure. The first time I did the race in 2018, there were quite a few. I don't know if there wasn't this many, I don't think, but it was closer. And in recent years, there's been more like 36 to 40. And that extra 10 to 15 makes a huge difference. So I think you have to have a mentality behind the wheel of making it through scenarios. And it's easier said than done. And I think a lot of drivers, at least in the qualifying race and whatever, proved that they weren't very patient in a lot of ways. And, you know, you really have to dot your I's and cross your T's, I think, in traffic, where before you could push flat out the whole time, but now there's a lot more variables going on. There's a lot more traffic, and, you know, it's going to be more give and take. For sure, my mindset is going to be to be as cautious as ever in situations that don't look quite right. And yeah, I think you have to stay on the track and stay out of trouble. And the team that does that the best, with the best combination of speed, I think you're going to see excel.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I've asked, and I've also asked all the drivers I've had on this week competing in the Rolex. What does it take to get it done at the Rolex 24?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what I just mentioned. There's a mindset inside of race drivers that you're always wanting to go as fast as you can, and that involves some risk, and it's a balance of risk management. I believe you can win this race from really any starting position. At least I hope you can, because we're not starting in such a good spot. But and we've seen it before. And you really are just trying to survive the first 20 hours. You hear people saying that all the time, and I think a lot of people that say it don't actually believe it, but it's really just about staying on the lead lap or close to it and staying out of trouble for 20 hours and then make it a 4-hour race at the end. And you got to save your stuff for the end. You know, these cars are extremely reliable and well sorted these days, but you know, things like we have to do a brake change during the race. You don't want to beat them up for no reason until you're at the end fighting, because somebody with fresher brakes is going to be faster. So there's so many things that go into it, but it's really just a balance of speed and you know, you're balancing speed versus how much risk you take.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, Robby Foley, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and good luck this week at the Rolex 24 Daytona.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.